We are about to embark on an immersive journey through the corridors of our minds. Stand by as we prepare for departure.
Welcome aboard, everyone, to the Productivity with Peace of Mind podcast adventure. Our journey will begin in just a moment. Inhale deeply and exhale. Our voyage takes us on a captivating tour, diving deep into the intricate layers of our thoughts and imagination. Brace yourselves for the complexities of our evolution. For a safe and enjoyable journey, stay seated, secure your helmet and protective goggles, and keep hands, feet, and legs inside while the ride is moving. Now relax and enjoy.
What if I told you that your pain is the ticket to seeing and holding space for the pain of others? That the hardest things you've gone through could actually be shaping you into the most compassionate version of yourself. I have found that every time I have a fall or a low point or go through something difficult or challenging in any way, usually my first thought is like, why is this happening to me? But then I always come out of it thinking, wow, the compassion that I feel for others and for the world just grew 10x. I remember being around 14 years old and just falling off of the couch, laying on the floor, screaming in pain on the floor of my parents' living room. And all I could feel was just the fire, the burning fire in my body of like 15 out of 10 pain on my left side. And my parents would rush me to the ER, and the doctors would hook me up to the machines and do all the testing. And this on and off just became my life for years. And again, that question, that thought of like, why me? Why do I have to go through this? Why is this happening? Continued to show up in my mind. But anytime I look back and reflect, and anytime something new happens, I can always see those times of pain are not just pain and loss or divorce, abuse, illness, starting over again and again in life and in new chapters. They're not just those items, they're not just those experiences on their own, but they're gifts. And they're one of the greatest gifts of my life, which is my own deep compassion and non-judgment of others. So why do we start with this why me question when we're in the midst of something really hard and really difficult, like an illness, a loss of some sort, a divorce, abuse, starting over in some way in your life? It can feel really unfair. And it's when the pain takes over, it can feel like that's all that's there. And that's all that we're actually able to focus on when that's not true. But it is normal to question your suffering, to wonder why it's happening, or even to wonder if it'll ever end. Because that's a common one too. A lot of times when we're in pain, we think, oh, this is going to be like this forever, when in fact, that's not true. What I realized over time is the pain I had experienced, both physically and emotionally, wasn't just something for me to survive. Because there was a lot of times I would look back and be like, thinking to myself, I haven't accomplished anything because all I've done is survive or get out of a hard situation. But instead, I wasn't just surviving, all of it was shaping me and who I was becoming. and the woman I am today. It was shaping me, and it became my ticket to being the compassionate person and the compassionate woman that I am today, who can hold a non-judgmental space for others. Anytime I've dealt with illness or chronic pain and health issues, it immediately allowed me to empathize with others' battles in the same sense. I wasn't impatient like I maybe had been before. I wasn't as judgmental. I wasn't as insistent that we just move on or get over it or find a solution quickly. I became better and better at sitting in and holding that space and allowing them to also feel seen without the judgment. Because I too wanted that when I went through those difficult times. When I went through divorce or moved across the country, of the handful of times I've done that, it gave me an understanding of other people's chapters in their lives where they were rebuilding from scratch, and it removed the judgment around that too. When I've experienced loss, it allowed me to learn that skill of being able to sit with someone in their own pain and grief without needing to fix it, but just sitting in that space with them and just being with them. It really allowed me that skill set around sitting with the discomfort and allowing it to be there and to process through it, which actually does get you to the other side, but you're not doing that with the intention of quote unquote fixing it. And things like abuse or assault, they allow you to find respect for others, for the strength that it takes all of us to keep going. So you can see, like, every one of these examples and many more, and anything and everything you've gone through, you're learning lessons, and your heart is growing bigger and your compassion is expanding, and your ability to be with and hold space for others only grows through this. Because when we've carried it for ourselves, we can see it and recognize it in others and also not judge them. And for me, the peace of mind part of productivity isn't about, checking off boxes or doing anything any certain way, but it's more about how we love and connect with others. And that's exactly what this type of compassion and this type of skill that our own painful experiences gives us can do for us and bring into our lives, is those deeper and more meaningful connection. I have had friends or colleagues or just people I've known from all walks of life, all ages, all shapes, all colors, all circumstances and situations, that I'm able to apply what I've learned in my own life in some shape or form, the ability to open my eyes and just listen to what they're going through and listen to what's happening for them and hold space for that. Because a lot of times that's what people need more than anything is space. They just need space to be heard, space to feel what they're feeling, space to go through what they're going through. And that is what allows them to move forward, not us coming in and, waving a magic wand and trying to fix it. I'm sure you've had people come into your life where when you're going through something difficult and they're like, "Oh, well, just do this or just do that." It's well intended, but it's not actually helpful, is it? Therefore, productivity is about this a human experience that we're all in together, not about tasks and, checking off a box. It is about the accomplishment and the achievement, but in the sense that you're feeling good and you're feeling connected and you're feeling the progress within yourself and within your life, not that you just did something in order to feel worthy or good enough. So if you're going through something difficult now, I might suggest that you stop and notice. Just pause. See the pain in yourself or your life, or maybe in others. Maybe there's someone around you going through something really difficult, and you can just notice that without the judgment. Just see what comes up. Just notice what is happening. Notice what you're seeing and hearing. And maybe try on a reframe. If it's yourself, maybe you ask, what gift might this pain be giving me? What am I learning? What am I getting out of this? If you're seeing it in others, you might, instead of trying to fix it, ask, how can I hold space? How can I just be there for this person through this time? And then we always want to put it into action, right? So you want to have your practices, your breath work, your meditation, your practicing stillness, your journaling, right? All of those things that allow you to really process what it is that's coming up for you, what it is you're noticing, and what you're practicing on reframing. And then the ongoing work and maintenance are those little acts that we take, kind words that we share of understanding, of our compassion, expressing that verbally, listening, really like truly deeply listening and understanding what they're saying without jumping in, without interjecting, and having the patience to do that. All of those small steps show our compassion and shift our and their energy. And compassion doesn't just live in our minds, it shows up in our bodies and the tone of our voice, how we are showing up, how we're expressing ourselves. Like our entire presence in front of others is felt when we're more compassionate. Now, there's also things to avoid when it comes to compassion. Like when I say compassion and when I say all these things like listening and being present and giving and all of that, what I'm not saying is overgiving at the expense of your own well-being. I'm not saying to be romanticizing suffering or anything like that. I'm saying that compassion is the gift that comes out of it, not the suffering itself. The suffering is painful and the suffering is suffering, point blank. But what we're doing is holding space for that. And I'm also not saying to be avoiding what you need in your own healing and your own needs while trying to take care of everybody else's. That's also not compassion because compassion means for everybody, including you, not just everybody else. So you're included in that. So if I could go back, all the way back to the 14-year-old version of myself, lying on the floor in incredible pain, I would say, I know that it hurts. I know how insufferable this feels. I know how impossible it ever feels for this to stop or to get out of this or for this to ever get better. But I want you to know now, even if it doesn't make sense yet, that this pain will become a gift. And one day, it will make you softer, stronger, more compassionate than you could ever imagine. And it will make the way that you connect with the world better and more powerful than you ever could even imagine at this point right now. So it's all going to be okay. And it all is okay. So that's what I would tell her. And what I want to tell you is that when life feels unfair, ask yourself, what gift might be coming from this? What might I be able to learn or grow through from this? Your pain is always your ticket to your own evolution of your compassion. So you might reflect on hard things that have shaped your own compassion so far. Maybe who's benefited from that softness that you now carry because of what you've walked through. And I don't mean softness as weakness. I mean softness as a tender heart, as emotional intelligence, as awareness, both self-awareness and awareness of those around you and the world around you. And if you know anyone else who's been going through something difficult right now or carrying something very heavy, share this episode with them. Maybe you even encourage them to journal along with you about how your pain has softened each other, how your difficult times have expanded your heart, have expanded your compassion for the world.
Thank you for braving the inside of your mind with me. The better we understand ourselves, the more deeply we understand the world, and as our awareness grows, life just gets better and better. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to leave a review and share this with anyone else you think could benefit from listening. A quick reminder that the content shared in this podcast is for informational purposes only. I am not a licensed therapist, and the discussions here are not a substitute for professional advice. If you're dealing with a specific issue or need personalized guidance, please consult with a qualified professional. Your well-being is important, and this podcast is simply a platform for sharing insights and experiences. I appreciate you spending this time with me. Until next time.